Yeah, it promotes a lot of things. I think you hit it on the head with the Purdue aspect, but also, the job that Raphael's done raising money for kids and getting them involved, I think, throughout the community and sports is an awesome deal. So I'm happy to be here. I think it's a great foundation, and I think that the fact that it also supports Purdue is gravy on top of it.
When you take a look at some of these young guys, I mean, we know you as a player at Purdue, as a commentator, as an NBA basketball player, but guys like Caleb, guys like Fletcher are just kind of entering the beginning of their careers at Purdue. What are some of the guys that have gone through it at Mac Arena? What do you guys tell them?
Well, I think, with young guys like Fletcher who's coming in, it's got to be about understanding how to be a college basketball player. He's a really good, talented player already, but I think that when you try to take that next step from high school to the Big Ten Conference, it can be an adjustment. So, he's leaning on the upperclassmen, some of his teammates, and I think that's what you really have to do. And with Caleb, I think he stepped into a situation that wasn't necessarily an easy one because he's a talented guy, a guy that on a lot of teams would have played more than what he did last year. But he dealt with some adversity. He was injured a little bit. You're playing on a team that's ranked in the top 7-8 teams in the country the entire year, and when you're injured and kind of in and out of the lineup, it can be tough to get back in. So I think that it's good that he's getting healthy this summer, and I just think that for him to continue to work hard, because both those guys have a really good chance to be really good players at Purdue in their time.
Taking off the Purdue hat, putting on the commentator hat, when you look at Purdue's team this year, Jaden, Sasha, Trevion obviously moved on to the next level. How do you see this team shaking out, and what are your kind of expectations for this group, knowing that they're kind of reloading to a certain degree?
Yeah, I think reloading is a good way to put it. Zach Edey is going to have an opportunity to have a monster season. He's going to play it, I think, as many minutes as he wants to or physically can, especially with Trevion moving on. I would say that the front court is really talented with guys that are proven and maybe some that aren't so much. With Trey Coffin-Wren, he's really talented but unknown at this level. Then you talk about Caleb, some of the guys that they've got there. The guard play is going to be the question mark, especially at the point guard position, because with the front court, I left off Mason Gillis, but
don't leave off Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly. Those guys are pretty proven commodities. I think Brandon Newman has an opportunity to kind of come in here and have a bounce-back season. I think he's worked at it. I know he's the type of player that can do it. But the point guard is going to probably be the thing that's the question mark and really determines how good Purdue will be this season.
You've made the transition from player to commentator very smoothly. Ray got on the Big Ten Network last year. We saw him at the beginning of the season and throughout the year. What was the piece of advice? What was the biggest transitional piece for you? And what kind of advice do you give a guy like Ray?
Yeah, and when you're just starting out, it's terrifying. Yeah. And you probably have gone through that as well as you've kind of gotten into your TV career. But the first time that I was on TV doing a game, I wanted to quit at halftime. So it's a bit of an adjustment. It's a little bit awkward early on when you're especially in the studio, when you're in a room, it's stale, you have to bring your own energy. But I thought that Ray got better and better throughout the year. I think he's prepared well. And that's part of it too, is understanding how much you have to prepare to be ready to be good on TV. And I think that he's really started to come into his own, and I think he's only going to get better.